This screencast will take you through the process of planning a unit using the MYP Unit Planner template. It's important that the relevant chapters of MYP from Principles into Practice have been reviewed before watching this video. The process of planning a unit is iterative. A teacher may approach planning their unit from various areas of the template. They may start with inquiry, action, or reflection. The names of the teachers who are working on the unit should be entered in the first box. In this second box, the subject group and the specific discipline within the subject group, if required, should appear. For example, design, fashion design. The unit title is recorded for archiving or referencing purposes and could be as simple as Unit 1, 2, 3, etc. And the MYP year should be entered as a number from 1 to 5. In the case of language acquisition specifically, the phase needs to be indicated. Unit duration should be recorded as the number of teaching hours, not lessons, periods, or weeks. The section titled Inquiry establishes the purpose of the unit and ensures alignment with MYP philosophy and requirements. The areas we need to identify are a key concept, one or more related concepts, and a global context. The statement of inquiry is a synthesis of these three elements and is unpacked through the inquiry questions. In this section, we also consider and design a summative assessment which allows students to explore the statement of inquiry and demonstrate the achievement of the objectives identified for the unit. This achievement will demonstrate the knowledge, skills, and understanding developed throughout the unit. These skills may manifest as approaches to learning skills, ATL, or subject-specific skills. Let's look at each element in more detail. Key concepts. The key concepts for each subject group can be found in the subject group guide. Identify one key concept that represents the big ideas for the unit, considering the content and context of the unit and the objectives of the subject group. Related concepts. Related concepts are listed and defined in each subject group guide. When choosing related concepts for the unit, consider the subject matter of the unit and/or the craft of the subject, its features and processes, and the objectives identified for the unit. Global context. When selecting a global context, we can choose from the list in MYP from Principles into Practice or develop our own. The context should provide a specific setting, event, or set of circumstances that help students understand the importance of what they're learning. Statement of inquiry. The statement of inquiry provides the focus for the unit. It consolidates the conceptual understandings that students will explore within context and the relevance for students. Inquiry questions. For this element of planning, we generate open-ended questions that frame the inquiry. These need to include factual, conceptual, and debatable questions. Factual questions tend to be concrete and usually have a right answer, often asking who, why, what, when, and where. Conceptual questions are more abstract and may explore broader meanings, deeper understandings, and transferable knowledge. Debatable questions promote critical and creative thinking, to consider multiple perspectives and provoke discussion. Summative assessment. Summative assessment includes three areas for teachers to consider. Teachers should identify the subject group objectives for the unit, outline the type of summative assessment tasks, and explain the relationship between these tasks and the statement of inquiry. Teachers should identify which MYP subject group objectives and, when applicable, which strands of these objectives will be addressed through the unit. Teachers should describe the nature of the summative assessment tasks and its connection with the objectives and statement of inquiry. Approaches to learning. Teachers need to identify specific ATL skills that students will develop through the unit. Teachers will cross-reference their ATL planning to ensure that the selected skills are relevant and meaningful in the context of the unit and appropriate for the MYP year level. Teachers will also need to confirm which ATL skills have been developed in other units so that these can be built upon to ensure the horizontal scaffolding of ATL skills. The purpose of this section, titled Action, is to establish and plan the process or the steps for teaching and learning through inquiry for the unit. The teacher will document students' prior learning, possible learning experiences, and the various teaching strategies, tools, and resources available for use. This section is not a linear process. The information gathered about one part may affect the planning in another part. For example, a review of the available resources might mean a teacher needs to reconsider the assessment tasks outlined in the earlier section. Similarly, a review of students' prior learning may mean that more time needs to be allocated for the teaching of skills and knowledge than was presumed. In each part of this section, teachers should consider the unit statement of inquiry to ensure the conceptual understanding is driving the unit's learning experiences, formative assessment, objectives, and teaching strategies. Teachers should consider what knowledge and skills are going to be needed to enable the student to conduct the inquiry and engage with the unit. Teachers need to consider how the required or selected content will facilitate deep understanding of the key and related concepts within context. The teacher may need to consider school, local, state, or national standards to be addressed in the unit. This part of the planner can be used to record this information. In schools where this is not the case, teachers may need to consider school-based requirements and the school's vertical mapping when selecting content for a unit. Learning process. This part of the planner identifies the required elements of the taught curriculum. Teachers can plan the ways in which their students will learn through a variety of teaching strategies. Learning experiences and teaching strategies. The specific design of the unit and the strategy of the teacher should enable all students to access the curriculum. Teachers should ensure that the unit comprises of a range of learning experiences and teaching strategies which are age-appropriate, thought-provoking, and engaging. Each student has different needs, and teaching strategies should facilitate learning for all students. The unit should build on prior learning and provide students with the opportunity to practice and apply new understandings and skills through structured inquiry. Units should be open-ended and involve teaching students problem-solving skills, where they can apply the concepts to a context. Teachers should design learning experiences which involve the communication of ideas and personal reflection for the student. Formative assessment. Teachers will also consider how they will monitor and support students throughout the learning process. Ongoing formative assessment carried out during the course of the unit will provide both teacher and student with information of the knowledge, skills, and understanding that need to be practiced and consolidated. Formative assessment is also a means of exploring learning styles and individual student differences so that instruction can be differentiated. Differentiation. Each unit developed should provide teaching strategies that enable each student to reach highest potential. For this aspect, teachers need to detail how they will plan to meet the learning needs of each student, including those who are learning in a language other than their mother tongue, and students with special educational needs. Differentiation may include offering students various modes of interpreting materials and allowing students choices in their performances of understanding. Resources. Teachers will need to brainstorm ideas for resources that could be used in the unit. These can include tools, equipment, information, and the learning environment. Teachers will need to consider the availability of resources and how the classroom environment, local environment, and/or the community may facilitate students' experiences during the unit. Reflection. Reflection is a powerful skill to develop. It is a tool used to improve teaching and learning and to focus attention on the planning, process, and impact of the inquiry. It is important to reflect on the unit throughout its development. The unit planner is designed to help teachers reflect on their planning prior to, during, and after teaching the unit. Reflection on the unit should be an ongoing process. Teachers should reflect on how effective their planning was. Questions that could be used as a starting point for evaluating the quality of the unit can be found in MYP from Principles into Practice, section Curriculum Written, Unit Planning.